Hi everybody, in this video we are going to talk about solving some special cases of equations. So we're going to be looking at um, equations where we don't get just a single solution. Um, for the equation, we're going to be looking at equations that have no solution at all and equations that have an infinite number of solutions. So let's start off looking at an example that is no solution, an example where there is no number that's going to make this equation work, a number that's going to make the left side of this equation equal to the right side of this equation. But to figure this out, let's just solve the equation and see what happens. So we're going to, just as usual, start by splitting our equation down the middle. Now, on the left side of our equation, we see -4 in front of parentheses, so we want to distribute. Okay, so -4 times 2x gives us -8x. -4 times +1 gives us -4. We have our equal sign in the middle, and nothing happened to the right side of our equation, so it stays the same. Now, if we look at each side, is there anything that can be combined together? So the left side, we have no like terms. The right side, there are no like terms, so we don't have any combining to do. We do, however, have our variable here on each side of our equation, and we need to collect our variable to just the left side or just the right side. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Let's decide that we want to get all of our x's to the left side of our equation. To do that, I need to cancel the -8x that's on the right side of my equation. Since it's -8x, I'm going to add 8x to make this cancel. And to keep things balanced, remember we need to do the same thing to the other side of our equation. Now, here's what's interesting. When I add -8x plus 8x on the left side of my equation, I get 0x, which cancels out my variable. What this leaves us with is -4 equals -2. Now, remember, when we're solving an equation, we're trying to figure out what is our variable equal to. Well, in this situation, we don't even have a variable anymore because it canceled out. We're left with this equation -4 equals -2. Now, we know this isn't true. -4 is not equal to -2. So what this means is we have a special case where there is no solution to the given equation. There's no number that I can plug in for x that's going to make this equation true. Let's look at a case of infinite solutions. So again, we're going to start off just solving as normal. So let's split it down the middle. Again, we have a 3 in front of parentheses, so we're going to start by distributing. The left side of my equation, nothing changes. The right side, I get 3 minus 9x, and then I drop down my -8. Now, on the right side of my equation, I have 3 and this -8 that can combine together, so let's rewrite it. We have -5 minus 9x equals -5 minus 9x. Now, I want you to just pause for a second here and look at what we have for our equation. The left side, -5 minus 9x, is exactly the same as the right side, which is -5 minus 9x. So what this means is I could plug in any number for x. I could plug in 12, -4, 300, whatever number I plug in for x, it's going to make the left side equal to the right side. Okay, but let's keep going a little further and see what happens. When we're solving, we know we want to get our variables to one side. So let's cancel our x off of the left side this time by adding 9x. Okay, I have to do that to the right side as well. And again, we get into this situation where the x is canceled. Now, if you look at the equation that we're left with, we have -5 equals -5. Now, this time, we're left with a true statement. -5 is equal to -5, and this tells us that there are an infinite number of solutions. Last time we had an equation that was left with no variable that wasn't true. This time we have a true equation. So instead of no solution, we get infinite solutions. Any real number that you can think of, if you plug it in for x, it's going to make this equation true. So let's look at a few more examples. All right, number 1. Again, anytime you see parentheses, we're going to start by distributing. So we get 6x plus 6 minus 3x is equal to 6 plus 3x. On the left side of my equation, I have like terms that can be combined. So let's rewrite it. We have 3x plus 6 equal to 6 plus 3x. So let's gather our variable to the left side this time. So we're going to cancel 3x off of this side by subtracting. Going to subtract 3x from this side as well, and it cancels. So let's see what's left over. We now have 6 equals 6. That is true, which tells us that this equation has an infinite number of solutions. Let's look at another example. Example 2. This time we have distributing to do on each side of our equation. So we get 12x minus 36, and that's equal to, remember 2 negatives multiplied gives us a positive 14x minus 28. Okay, so no combining to do on either side, so we're ready to collect our variable to one side. Let's go ahead and move our variable to the right side, so we'll cancel it off of the left. It cancels here. It cancels here. Or I'm sorry, it does not cancel here. We're left with negative 36 is equal to 2x minus 28. Now, you can see, unlike the previous example, our variable doesn't cancel. We're left with a variable that we can solve for in this equation. So this one isn't going to give us a special solution. It's not one of our special cases. We're going to actually be able to find a single solution for this equation. So let's keep going. Remember, we want to try to get x by itself, so we need to undo the subtraction here first. We need to get rid of this minus 28 by adding 28 to each side. Okay, when we do that, we get negative 8 is equal to 2x, 2 times x, so we're going to divide. And we're left with x is equal to negative 4. All right, let's look at another example with variables on both sides. All right, so again, we have distributing to do on each side. So here we get a 40x minus 24, and that's equal to negative 18x minus 24. Okay, so no combining to do, but we can gather a variable to one side. So let's collect our variable this time to the left side. So we're going to cancel this negative 18x by adding 18x, and we're going to do it to both sides. Notice on the left side here, we're not going to cancel out our x. We actually have a 58x now minus 24 equal to 24. And again, we have a variable we can solve for, so we're not going to have a special case here. So we need to get x by itself. We need to undo this subtraction first, so we're going to add 24 to each side. Oh, I forgot my negative sign. This was a negative 24 from above. So when I add 24 here, I now have 58x equals 0. And remember, the 58 is multiplying x, so to undo that multiplication, I need to divide. And remember, 0 divided by any number other than 0 is just 0. And that's our solution. All right, one more example. Number 4. Let's split it down the middle. Okay, notice the left side of my equation. I don't have any distributing to do, but on the right side, I have 2 sets of parentheses that I need to distribute to. So the left side, we're going to keep the same. On the right side, we now have a 7x plus 14 minus 4x plus 28. And we need to gather combine our like terms on the right side of this equation. I have some x's that can combine, and I have some constants that can combine. The left side remains the same. The right side now is 3x plus 42. So now let's collect our variables to the left side. So I'll subtract 3x here to cancel. And you're going to see that now we have one of these special cases again, where our variables have canceled. So let's look and see what's left. We have negative 13 equals 42. Well, that's not true. So this tells us that this equation really has no solution. There's no number I can plug in for x that will make this equation true. All right, remember, go back, rewatch, pause, and ask questions. Have a great day.